Today, we're going to talk about something that's not easy, but so important. If you have an aging parent, spouse, or dear friend, you may have noticed small changes that made you pause. Maybe they've lost a little weight. Maybe they seem more tired, or aren't as sharp as they once were. It's natural to wonder, is this just aging, or is something deeper happening? The truth is, as our loved ones approach the final chapter of life, the body often begins sending quiet signals, a year or even longer before the end. These signs can be subtle at first, and because they look like ordinary aging, many families miss them. Only later, in hindsight, do they realize the clues were there. In this video, I'll gently guide you through 5 key signs that may indicate your elderly loved one is in their final year. My hope is that by understanding these signs, you can provide care filled with love, prepare emotionally, and make every remaining day count. Let's walk this path together with compassion, respect, and a deep appreciation for the moments that matter most.
Part 1. Significant weight loss. Let's begin by talking about one of the most noticeable and meaningful signs that an elderly loved one may be approaching the final year of their life: significant, unintentional weight loss. This isn't about someone trying to shed a few pounds on purpose, but rather the kind of slow, gradual decline that often slips under the radar. You might first notice it in the little things, perhaps a belt that no longer fits snugly, clothing that hangs a bit more loosely, or a favorite ring that seems too large all of a sudden. At first glance, these changes may seem harmless. After all, don't we all expect our appetite to wane a little as we grow older? But when weight loss happens without trying, it's often the body's quiet way of telling us that something deeper is going on. There are several reasons why this happens in the final stage of life. One of the most common is that the body starts having difficulty absorbing nutrients as efficiently as it once did. Even if your loved one is eating, their body may not be making use of the food in the way it needs to. Muscle mass begins to fade more rapidly. Essential systems that once worked like clockwork now slow down, and the fuel that once nourished and strengthened the body doesn't have the same impact. In many cases, weight loss can also be linked to underlying medical conditions that may not be obvious right away. Illnesses such as heart failure, kidney disease, or certain cancers often cause gradual weight loss months before other symptoms become clear. Even conditions like depression or mild cognitive decline can lead to less interest in eating, creating a cycle where the body grows weaker and more vulnerable. Families often try to respond with love and care by preparing special meals, offering favorite snacks, or turning to nutritional shakes and supplements. And while these efforts come from the best intentions, they don't always produce the results we hope for. That's because at this stage, the body may simply stop sending the signals that create hunger. The natural drive to eat fades because the body is gently beginning to slow down. Forcing large meals can sometimes do more harm than good, leading to discomfort or distress. So what can we do? The key is to focus on comfort and quality of life. Offer small, easy-to-eat portions of foods your loved one still enjoys. Think about soft fruits, warm broths, or smooth yogurts. Hydration is especially important. Small sips of water, juice, or herbal tea can help more than we realize. And perhaps most importantly, create moments around food that feel warm and loving. Sitting together, sharing a favorite treat, or simply offering a smile as they nibble on something can provide nourishment of a different kind, the kind that feeds the heart and soul.
Part 2. Extreme fatigue and weakness. Another important sign to watch for as a loved one enters their final year of life is extreme fatigue and weakness. Now, we all feel tired from time to time. That's just part of being human, especially as we age. But the kind of fatigue we're talking about here is different. This isn't the kind that a good nap or a restful night's sleep can fix. It's a deep, persistent exhaustion that lingers no matter how much your loved one rests. You may notice that simple daily tasks become harder for them. Getting out of bed in the morning might feel like climbing a mountain. Walking from one room to another, something that was once easy, may leave them out of breath or needing to sit down. Even holding a conversation or focusing on a favorite TV show can feel like too much effort. Gradually, activities they once enjoyed, gardening, reading, visiting with friends, start to slip away, not because they don't care, but because their energy just isn't there anymore. Why does this happen? As the body begins preparing for its final phase, it starts to conserve its remaining energy. The heart doesn't pump quite as strongly, and circulation slows down. Muscles receive less oxygen, making them weaker and more prone to fatigue. The body's metabolism also shifts. Rather than creating energy for movement and activity, it focuses on preserving strength for vital functions, keeping the heart beating and the lungs working. In a sense, the body is gently turning inward, doing only what is absolutely necessary to keep going. This physical fatigue often brings emotional challenges as well. Your loved one might feel frustrated or sad that they no longer can do what they used to. They may withdraw from conversations or stop trying to engage in activities that once brought them joy. It's not that they've lost interest in life or the people they care about. It's simply that they don't have the energy to participate in the same way. This can sometimes be misunderstood as depression, but in reality, it's part of the natural process of slowing down. What can families do during this time? The most important thing is to honor your loved one's limits and offer support without pressure. Let them rest when they need to. Help them with small tasks so they don't use up precious energy. Instead of focusing on what they can no longer do, look for ways to bring them comfort. Sitting together in silence, listening to music they love, or simply being present. Your patience and understanding mean more than you might realize. In these moments, what matters most is not how much your loved one can accomplish, but how safe, loved, and at peace they feel. By recognizing extreme fatigue as a natural part of this journey, you can help make their remaining time as gentle and meaningful as possible.
Part 3. Cognitive confusion and emotional withdrawal. As a loved one moves closer to the final stage of life, you may start to notice changes not only in their body, but also in their mind and emotions. This can be one of the hardest signs for families to witness because it touches at the heart of who we are, our thoughts, our memories, and how we connect with those we love. Cognitive confusion often begins subtly. Maybe your loved one starts to forget little things, a date, a familiar name, where they left their glasses. At first, it might seem like typical aging, the sort of forgetfulness we all experience from time to time. But over the months, these small slips can grow into something more concerning. They may lose track of time entirely, ask the same question repeatedly, or struggle to follow conversations. You might notice moments when they seem unsure of where they are, even in a place they've called home for years. What causes this? Just as the body's other organs slow down, so too does the brain. As circulation weakens, the brain receives less oxygen and fewer nutrients, making it harder to function clearly. This can lead to periods of confusion, disorientation, and difficulty making decisions. Some days may be clearer than others, and you may see your loved one seem sharp one moment, only to drift into confusion the next. Emotional withdrawal often follows. Someone who once lit up at family gatherings may now seem quieter, more distant. They might stop participating in conversations or prefer to sit quietly, looking out a window or resting in their favorite chair. It's not because they no longer care about the people around them. It's because engaging simply takes more energy than they have. Loud environments or too many people can feel overwhelming, so they retreat into the safety of silence. Mood changes are common too. Your loved one may seem more irritable, anxious, or on edge. Others may appear unusually calm, even detached from the world around them. This isn't something they can control. It's the mind's way of coping as it works with less and less fuel. So, how can you help? The most powerful gift you can offer is your presence. Speak gently. Sit quietly by their side. Offer a reassuring touch. Keep their surroundings familiar and peaceful. Play soft music they love, or simply hold their hand. Even when they seem far away, they can still feel your love. Remember, these changes are not a rejection of you. They are simply part of the natural process of the body and mind preparing for the final transition. Your patience, kindness, and understanding provide more comfort than words ever could.
Part 4. Frequent infections and slow healing. As a loved one enters the final stage of life, another quiet but important sign to look for is frequent infections and slower healing. You might notice that someone who once rarely got sick now seems to catch every little cold or bug that goes around. A mild cough lingers longer than usual. A small scrape or bruise seems to take weeks instead of days to heal. These changes can be subtle at first, but over time, they tell a clear story. The body's ability to protect and repair itself is gently winding down. Why does this happen? The immune system, like all other systems in the body, becomes weaker with age, and even more so as the body begins to prepare for its final transition. The energy and strength that once went into fighting off infections or closing up wounds are now focused on simply keeping the heart beating and the lungs working. Blood doesn't circulate as efficiently, which means oxygen and nutrients take longer to reach the places where they're needed most. This slows the healing process and makes it easier for infections to take hold. You might see repeated cases of pneumonia, urinary tract infections, skin infections, or mouth sores. What's more, these infections may not look the way we expect. Instead of a fever or obvious pain, your loved one might simply seem more tired than usual, confused, or less interested in eating. These subtle signs can be easy to miss, but they're often the first clues that an infection is present. For families, this stage can feel especially hard. It's natural to want to help, to seek out treatments, antibiotics, or hospital care in hopes of restoring health. And sometimes these interventions can bring relief. But there often comes a point where the focus begins to shift from curing to comforting.
The body may no longer have the strength to fully bounce back, no matter how hard we try. So what can we do? The most meaningful support we can offer is gentle, loving care. Keep your loved one as comfortable as possible. Help with small things that can make a big difference, like offering sips of water to prevent dehydration, keeping their skin clean and moisturized to protect against sores, and ensuring their surroundings are peaceful and calming. Simple acts of kindness, like smoothing their blanket or softly holding their hand, can bring more comfort than you might imagine. It's also important to remember that at this stage, quality of life matters more than fighting every infection at all costs. By recognizing the signs of a declining immune system, we can shift our focus to what truly counts, making sure our loved ones' final months, weeks, or days are filled with dignity, peace, and love.
Part 5. Major changes in breathing and circulation. As a loved one moves closer to life's final chapter, one of the most noticeable and often most emotional signs is a change in breathing and circulation. These changes can begin quietly, with small differences that may not seem significant at first, but over time they become more pronounced, offering gentle signals that the body is gradually slowing down. You might observe that your loved one's breathing pattern is different than before. Their breaths may become slower and more shallow. Sometimes they may pause for a few seconds between breaths, then take a deep sigh as their body catches up. In some cases, you might notice a rhythmic pattern called Cheyne-Stokes breathing. This is when breathing alternates between deep, rapid breaths and longer periods of little or no breathing at all. While it can be unsettling to witness, it's a natural part of the body's process as it conserves energy. Alongside these changes in breathing, circulation begins to shift too. The heart, working harder to keep up, may not pump blood as effectively as it once did. You may notice that your loved one's hands, feet, nose, or ears feel cool to the touch. The skin might appear pale, bluish, or mottled, especially around the fingers and toes. This happens because the body is sending blood to the most vital organs, the heart, lungs, and brain, and reducing flow to the extremities. Sometimes your loved one might experience shortness of breath with even small movements, like adjusting their position in bed or speaking a few words. Lying flat may feel uncomfortable, so they might prefer to rest propped up with pillows or in a recliner to help their breathing feel easier. For families, seeing these changes can stir up worry and heartache. It's natural to want to help, to encourage deeper breaths, or to seek immediate medical solutions. But it's important to remember that these changes are not emergencies. They're part of the body's gentle transition toward rest. So, how can we best support our loved one during this time? The focus should be on comfort. Keep the room cool and airy. A humidifier can soothe dry airways. Offer small sips of water or ice chips to ease dryness in the mouth. If a doctor recommends it, oxygen or certain medications may help make breathing easier, but the priority is always comfort over cure. And most of all, simply be there. Sit quietly. Hold their hand. Speak softly even if they don't seem to respond. Your presence provides peace and reassurance in a way no medicine ever could. In these moments, love and gentle care
are the greatest gifts you can give.
As we come to the end of this video, let's take a moment to reflect. We've talked about 5 gentle but meaningful signs that may appear in the final year of an elderly loved one's life. Significant weight loss, extreme fatigue, cognitive confusion and emotional withdrawal, frequent infections, and changes in breathing and circulation. While these signs can be difficult to witness, recognizing them allows us to offer better care, focus on comfort, and cherish the precious time we have left together. Remember, this journey is not about fighting the natural process, but about filling each remaining moment with dignity, love, and peace. Your presence, kindness, and understanding will mean more to your loved one than you may ever realize. If you found this video helpful, please take a moment to like it, share it with friends or family who may benefit, and subscribe to Senior Wise Journey. Your support helps us continue creating content that informs, comforts, and inspires. And don't forget to click the bell icon so you won't miss any of our future videos. Thank you for watching, and may you find strength and peace on this journey with those you love.